And welcome to the February 6th edition of Our Show. Today we have Fred Javidi of Our Beach out on Shoreline Boulevard in Hernando Beach. His restaurant will be featured in an upcoming episode of Emeril Lagasse's new show, Emeril Florida. But first, let's get into the week's top stories. Overshadowed by several negative headlines in recent weeks, the Hernando County Sheriff's Office recognized 3 deputies for their heroic actions. Deputy James Dvorak was the first to arrive on the scene of a house fire inside the High Point subdivision. Minutes later, he heard a man moaning inside the burning structure. Without regard for his own safety, Dvorak entered the smoke-filled building and began feeling around until he found the victim on the living room floor. Dvorak pulled the man to safety just as firefighters arrived on scene. During a press conference, Dvorak told reporters he doesn't consider himself a hero, and says that anyone in his position would have done the same thing. Authorities say the fire does appear to be suspicious and are not ruling out the possibility that the victim may have set the fire himself. 2 other deputies stopped at Sunoco Station on Broad Street for a soda when a woman frantically waving her hands caught their attention. Deputies Mascatelli and Locke ran to the woman's aid, where she pointed at her husband who was grasping at his throat, signaling that he was choking. While Deputy Mascatelli positioned himself behind the victim to perform the Heimlich maneuver, Deputy Locke ran to call for fire rescue. After only 3 compressions, a large piece of food was dislodged from the man's throat, saving his life. Both deputies were recognized for their heroism during a press conference last week. If you're looking for a trendy or extravagant dining atmosphere, then you can probably look no further than the carousel of billboards that line any major highway. But if you're like Fred Javidi of Hernando Beach, then you know some of the best foods are found on the side roads in smaller mom-and-pop style restaurants. Fred should know he owns one of those establishments, and after this weekend, you'll understand why he has a right to brag. Owner of Our Beach Restaurant on Shoreline Road, Fred says he and his wife Susan had a hard time finding good food when they first moved to Hernando County, so they decided to fix the problem. Fred says his chef Nathan Collins has free reign in the kitchen to experiment with different recipes, and that formula of freedom has proven successful over the last 4 years. The menu offers seafood, steak, pasta, salads, and not to mention some of the best burgers in town, which Fred says if you can't cook a burger right, you need to get out of town. The atmosphere is casual, so no need to wear a jacket or tie. Well, that is, unless you're planning a wedding or a formal occasion. Fred says last year his banquet room booked over 60 to 70 holiday parties and numerous fundraisers for local charities. Fred loves entertaining his guests. He's not one of those to sit back in the office and bark orders at his staff. Wednesday through Sunday, you can find a variety of entertainment, from jazz music performed by the local jazz society to blues, rock and roll, R&B, karaoke, and they even have a Latin night. On the first Saturday of each month, Our Beach even hosts live comedy performed by well-known talents. What many do not know is that Our Beach will be featured on Emeril Lagasse's new show, Emeril Florida. Fred says he was surprised when Our Beach was chosen because one of the usual requirements for Emeril's show is that it must have a view of the ocean or Gulf. Emeril's producers told Fred they made an exception due to the quality of his food. So don't miss one of Hernando County's very own this Sunday at 2:30 p.m. on the Food Network. Well, that's our show. We'll see you next week.